George Floyd's murder sharpened the focus on police use of force across the nation. Chicago's police force has seen its share of turmoil as well. Fatal shootings, revelations of botched raids, and policing tactics at protests have all been the subject of criticism, and as we've heard earlier tonight, calls for reform and even defunding. But many in law enforcement say they are given too few resources and too many restrictions to do what they believe is a difficult and dangerous job. Joining us to offer their perspective as former law enforcement officers are Mark Buslick, retired 39-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department and adjunct faculty teaching criminality law and justice at the University of Illinois at Chicago. He's also a member of the Law Enforcement Action Partnership. Waldemar Cruz, a retired Cicero police sergeant and president of the Puerto Rican Police Association. And Peter Garza, a retired criminal investigator for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and former Cook County Deputy Sheriff. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Peter Garza, let's start with you, please. For many years in Chicago, the crime rates have been high. Violent crime clearance rates have been low. How should we as citizens judge the performance of police?
First of all, thank you for having me on. When I was a college student at Illinois State, an old professor once told me, if you want to confuse or you want to destroy a system, confuse it. And the people at the bottom will have no clue what's going on. And the so-called leaders, the people at the top, will also be confused and will be afraid to make the right decisions for fearing that they'll lose their jobs. And this brings me to say we need to take about 2 or 3 steps back, because we're making policing such a confusing situation that it doesn't need to be. And the reason why is because everybody's bringing in their unprofessional opinions. You have elected officials who they don't know what they're talking about. And they do everything on the basis of getting reelected. I guarantee you that if this city were very pro-police, I guarantee you that the mayor would be saying to the elected to the crowds, you know what, you're absolutely right. I'm going to hire more police. I'm going to get more guys. So you have to take what they have to say with a grain of salt. Now, with that said, we have to ask, do we need the police? Why do we have police? Well, we need police because that's the foundation of any successful society. Before there's government, before there's business or anything else, a society needs safety, which means a criminal justice system, which means policing. And the police officer, not the leadership, the police officer is the one on the front line. And him and her have been thrown under the bus too many times.
Well, Mark Buslick, I want to get you in here. Excuse me. One of the policing concepts that you advocate for is police legitimacy. Mark Buslick, can you explain that approach?
Oh, certainly. I've been speaking for a number of years on this issue of police legitimacy. And again, I'm not an activist with an agenda. I'm a scientist and a former bureaucrat. And what I found is that in order to achieve that police legitimacy, that the community trusts the police to do the right things the right ways, we need to engage the community in really what we call a community-informed approach. And it has to be very collaborative. The police can be very good at certain things, very good at crime fighting. But if the community doesn't consider that important, then it really doesn't matter how good we are. If the community says, we care a lot about accountability, but it's a police agency that's not very transparent, doesn't have a good disciplinary system that serves to prevent misconduct, then we're not winning. So it's a matter of collaborating with the community and working together. And, I use kind of an academic metaphor of the ancient Greek temple. We like them because they're solid and they're very aesthetically appealing. And that's police legitimacy. It's solid. It looks the way we want it to look. And to extend that metaphor, we have these columns which really represent the different things that police departments do: crime fighting, accountability, criminal investigations. And we need to evaluate an agency based on those things that the community considers important.
Waldemar Cruz, do you think the amount and the type of training that police officers get, do you believe that's sufficient and effective?
No, I don't. I think we as a city has to do a better job in taking our time and training our police officers. We can't make it a system where we're trying to push out as many police officers into the street to cover the street because of so many retirements. We have so many things going on as mental health, psychology, social work, juvenile issues, that we can't cover everything, but we're mandated to do it. And I think if we want to improve policing, we have to take our time in training our officers properly with the right people training them. This training system that we have in place, I think, has a lot of favoritism and nepotism. So we're not getting the right people training our officers. So they're losing out on a very important aspect in their careers before they even hit the street. And that's one of the most important aspects that we need to correct.
Now, after the Adam Toledo shooting, his lawyer had this to say about the question of whether or not Toledo had a gun.
But it is not relevant because he tossed the gun. If he had a gun, he tossed it. The officer said, "Show me your hands." He complied. He turned around. There's a still photo going around on the internet with his hands up, and he's shot in the middle of his chest.
Now, Peter Garza, in both the Toledo shooting and the Anthony Alvarez shooting in Portage Park, the officer gave an order to drop the weapon, which was immediately followed by the officer opening fire, in both cases fatally, as we all know. In situations like these, how long should a person get to comply with the officer's order before the officer feels the need to shoot?
Well, that's double questioning a police officer whose life is on the line. I never do that because you don't know what you can't really empathize with that type of a situation, which leads me to this point. When the people who are making these decisions, they're not the superintendent or chiefs, they're the elected officials. And I think that it would be good for the community and for the department, for every elected official to take one day at the academy, of course, and then do 3 days on every shift and go on patrol with the police officer. That way they would be better able to empathize with what the police officer deals with. Now, one of your last panelists is even saying that we should get rid of the guns and the badges on the police. And we're all blaming everything on the police. But what I don't hear is any blaming or any consequence for the criminal or for the victim. The victim has been completely forgotten now. And we are in a society now where everyone has their biased opinion. And like the commander says, everybody has a hidden agenda. And they want to throw in their 2 cents, but a lot of that stuff is just
And to be clear, Peter Garza, when you're saying victim, you mean victims of crime, not necessarily
victims of crime.
in a
Absolutely.
police shooting.
The victims of
Mark
crime.
Buslick,
What happened to them?
Are there functions that the police are performing now that you think might be better performed by other entities?
Absolutely. I mean, the police department, they have really no
Sorry, I was trying to get Mark Buslick in on that question. We've got about 30 seconds left. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes, I think so. We tried some things in my old district with responding to people in mental health crisis. LEAP, as you said, who I'm kind of representing this evening, they've developed what they call the community responder model to kind of offload some tasks from the police that are not emergency or directly law enforcement to other personnel, other responder personnel. And I think that some of that can be done, yes.
Okay, and that's where we'll have to leave it, gentlemen. I'm sorry we're out of time. My thanks to Peter Garza, Mark Buslick, and Waldemar Cruz for joining us.
Thank you.
And be sure to visit our website for a roll call of Chicago's current and past police superintendents. Learn about the first man hired for the job back in 1835 and how the relationship between the heads of police and Chicago's mayors grew hostile at times. Again, that is on our website, WTTW.com/news.